Heimat für mich, das ist nicht
For
nur
me, home isn't simply the place where you were born.
geboren ist.
Home is
Heimat
also
ist
the
auch
country that gives
das
you the
Land, das dir die
opportunity to achieve
Möglichkeit
something.
gibt, was zu machen.
That's
Und
why I
deswegen,
always
ich
say I have
sage
two
immer,
homes,
ich habe
Cuba,
zwei
where I
Heimat.
was born,
Kuba,
and
wo ich
Berlin,
geboren bin,
where I now
und
live.
Berlin, meine zweite Heimat.
Iris and Eric Garofalo run a Cuban restaurant in Berlin, La Pequeña Habana, or Little Havana. Before they opened it 4 years ago, they did a lot of research. They discovered that while there were several Cuban bars, there was no truly Cuban restaurant in the city. So it was high time to open one.
What
What I really like about Germans is that they're fearless when it comes to trying out new kinds of cuisine. They're very flexible, free and open to new experiences, and they're very honest.
Iris Garofalo grew up in a small town in the west of Cuba. She had her first child at 17. In 1999, an uncle who lived in Berlin invited her to come visit. She decided to stay. At home, she had been an English teacher. In Germany, she started to work in restaurants.
I've always found gastronomy interesting. We don't have that in Cuba. People opening their own businesses. Although I trained in another profession, I've always been drawn to the restaurant trade. Even as a little child, I would love to spend time in the kitchen with my grandmother. She would always cook for lots of people, and I was there with her.
Eric Garofalo was born in the same town as his wife. They lived just 50 meters apart, but they never met back then. He studied agricultural science and then left for Italy. That's where he met Iris, who was on holiday there. Erik has lived in Berlin for 10 years now. He taught himself how to cook, and he is always experimenting and dreaming up new recipes. Cuban cuisine is an enduring source of inspiration. It is itself a fascinating mix of influences, among them African and Spanish.
I am really passionate about what I do. I always enjoyed cooking and learned a lot working in various establishments. I thought about it for a long time, and then I decided to do this and present my culture and cook for the German public.
Ropa Vieja is the Cuban national dish. The name means old rags, but the dish is a beef stew. The recipe calls for flank steak because it shreds well when cooked. Cuban cuisine tends to be spicy and highly seasoned, with plenty of garlic, cumin, and bay leaves. Bay leaves are also pictured in the Cuban coat of arms. They're a symbol of strength. To make ropa vieja, the meat is boiled till tender, and then it's pulled apart and looks like old rags. The history of the dish has long been disputed. Some say it originated on the Canary Islands. Others say it comes from mainland Spain.
It's something you can always eat. It makes a great family meal because it's so practical. In fact, you can make 2 courses with the 1 piece of meat. First, a hearty soup with noodles, and then you use the meat to make a delicious ropa vieja.
The restaurant is in Schöneberg, a mainly residential neighborhood with lots of mellow street life and cafes. People have come here to enjoy themselves since the mid-19th century. La Pequeña Habana is not on a main road. Hordes of hungry people don't necessarily come in just by chance. The start was difficult, but its reputation has been growing and many of its patrons are regulars now.
I love the atmosphere and the people.
I highly recommend it. It was very tasty. It feels like a piece of Cuba. That's where I'm from. If you live abroad, it's important to have somewhere that feels like home. That's why we come here.
There is the regular menu and various specials, but the dish that is in greatest demand is Ropa Vieja.
Hoy hemos cocinado para ustedes la ropa vieja, un plato muy querido en toda Cuba. Espero les haya gustado y les deseo a todos muy buen provecho.